Oh, 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 oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. We are celebrating Acharya Shankara's Jayanti. The word Shankara, the etymology of this is Sham Karoti iti Shankara. Sham means auspiciousness. Karoti means the one who does or causes this. Now, the word auspicious we only use in such forums. You've probably never used the word auspicious outside of a study group in your entire life. And so, more practically, auspiciousness is egolessness. The one who is egoless and causes egolessness, that is what the meaning of Shankara is. One becomes Shankara through being an Acharya, which means one leads themselves. They are not living to be liked. They are not othering. They are following rightness, and in doing so, naturally, others follow. Only an Acharya Shankara can write Atma Shataka, or more popularly known as Nirvana Shataka, a collection of verses that guides one on being what they are, which is the Atma, or center. For the one who is centered, there is no mukti, there's no bandha, there's no up and down, because they're centered. We got to experience all of this through our Devi, Aparna, from San Jose. Aparna means the one who doesn't depend even on Parna. Parna means leaves or any sort of externality. The one who only depends on their divinity, their Atma. Some celebrate this through externalization. We try to celebrate this by knowing this and living this. That is the culture of meaningful mornings. For the one who does not know how to contemplate, that person will never feel complete. If my words are intimidating you, if my words are making you feel lesser, I am sharing this in a productive, constructive way. If you do not learn how to be adept at contemplation, you will never feel completion. I'm sharing this scripturally. I'm sharing this experientially. Now, if I were to offer you a broad tip on how to be better with contemplation, it would be to live in a right way. when you live in a right way, your mind becomes quiet enough to want to contemplate. Those who don't live in a right way, when they try to contemplate, their minds are so loud that they leave contemplation, which really means they're leaving completion. This is so important, and that's why in our community we have silence retreats. We have the highest vocation. These are the final 4 weeks of meaningful mornings in this semester, the final 4 weeks of our investment into the Bhagavad Gita. On Tuesday, June 11th, I feel one of the greatest offerings that our community has offered to all, will be shared. And that is the recording for the most recent highest vocation, which was a 55 morning exploration of Bhagavad Gita's chapter 6. This will be shared on our YouTube channel. And so while we don't see each other, while I'm traveling to Tibet, you please experience this highest vocation. And if you're good at it, you'll feel complete. And if you're bad at it, it will be a message from Sri Krishna to live more rightly. Adding a few more thoughts on how we can be ready for contemplation. As someone who didn't grow up contemplating, even when we were in the Vedanta course, we were trained a little bit in contemplation. But our master knew that if you're clear about presence, in other words, you're clear, you are born to be divine, then this becomes your purpose. While you walk and talk, while you work and bank, you have that same purpose to be present. But that will only happen if you're clear about presence. In our pujas, and I had shared this in our Nada Bhakti Sutra course, for the one who's following through with all of this, every verb they engage in, they feel, is an honor for them to love their divinity. In our pujas, we chant Shri Parameshwara Prityartham. I'm about to engage in this puja to please my divinity, but really we engage in that puja to ask for something. Then that puja is corrupted. And that's why I'm sharing here, when you have this feeling of it's my honor to be able to love divinity, that's when you take your puja offline. In this chapter, the word abhyarcha was used. In English, worship. Those who live in a worshipful way, they naturally can contemplate. Those who are living in a transactional way, the contemplation is torture for them. They sleep, they're distracted. You sit and practice, and that will show you how you're living the remaining 23 hours of the day. I'm reading to you some insights from Pujya Swami Chinmayananda so that we are clearer about this review of contemplation, and then we'll take up another verse that shares the preparation that is needed to get to the Dhyana Dwara. Seeking sense gratifications, the mind is in a constant state of agitation. To quieten such a mind, it is necessary that we must give it some point of contemplation, wherein, as it engages itself more and more, it shall discover consummate happiness and get sufficiently disengaged from everything else. Diverting the mind from the world of sense objects and maintaining it in a steady flow towards contemplation of the Lord, in an utter attitude of identification, is called meditation. To be steadily in a state of such an all-consuming dedication unto a nobler and a higher ideal is the method of cooling down the mind's boiling lust for sense enjoyment. Too powerful. How to be ready for contemplation. This is verse 53. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam parigraham vimuccha nirmama shantaha brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Joy. None of this content, in fact, none of these words are appearing in the Bhagavad Gita for the first time. This has been shared 5 times, 10 times, 100 times. I am reading the translation, then I shall share some reflections, hopefully leading to practice. Having abandoned egoism, power, arrogance, desire, anger, and materialism, and freed from the notion of mine, and so peaceful, he is fit to become Brahman. If one has all of these vices in one's personality, one has not developed the critical quietude that is needed to move towards silence. A way to free ourselves from all of these vices slowly is to live in a light way. The word nirmama means not mine. All of the matters you have, all of the matters you are, to have a light relationship with these. I shared that about Sundarakanda, correct? Have a light touch of pleasure, possession, position. In chapter 6, the word light is not used, the word right is used. To have the right relationship with sleeping and waking, eating and exercising. Do you all remember that? The word yukta is used again and again and again. As I was shifting from teaching outside to teaching inside because it was raining, I was reflecting on this verse. For me, and a practice I try to follow is not to own anything I don't need. If I don't need it, I'm not going to own it. It makes my lifestyle very simple. Final quarter. This is so powerful. When one has followed through with preparing for contemplation, kalpate, there will be this change. Bhuyaya, one will rediscover Brahma, that is the infinite. One will be complete. Some more reflections, and these are the more deep ones. So all of those who have to go to work at 8 a.m., that's your problem. You can easily change your work timing or your driving timing if you want to. It's not like I'm hanging out in the morning. I also have this and that to do. An animal lives by God's will. A human can live by God's will, but tends to live by free will. And that's why animals live lightly and humans live heavily. And so how this plays out in terms of living lightly, it is to use your free will and surrender it to God's will. There's a lovely teaching in Sanatana Dharma where Bhagwan Shiva is described as a monkey man. He has this monkey that he walks around with, and that monkey dances and sings like an entertainer. And what is shared here is that monkey is me. It is my mind. Bhagwan Shiva, you own me. You tell me to sing, you tell me to dance, you tell me to drive, you tell me to breathe. I found the only way for one to surrender their free will to God's will is when you see this being lived out by another. Seeing is believing, and really the only one who lives like this is our trust triangle, specifically our guide. On Wednesday, May 8th evening, I wrote to Puja Swami Tejomayananda about our community, actually. And he responded to me. I'm reading this email to you so that you are very clear that this is not poetry, but this is practicality about how a master lives. Dear Vivek, Hari Om, thank you so very much for your devotion-filled email. You have grace and blessings of Puja Gurudev and Bhagwan Shankaracharya as well. By God's grace, I am keeping well. I really appreciate all you are doing and your sankalpa even for the next year. Please convey my appreciation, thanks, and best wishes to all members. I eagerly look forward to seeing you all in here on June 16th and 17th with Prem and Om Tejomayananda. That entire email, every word he's written, is based on God's grace or God's will. From inspiration to application, your application was for you to reflect on what facet of Sanatana Dharma keeps this everlasting. And I had shared with you my reflection. It is our lineage of guides. When you think of a mandir, when you think of an ashram, they're static locations. When you think of the Himalayas, when you think of the Ganga, they're static locations. But a guide is like a mobile pilgrimage. They bring the mandir, the ashram, the Himalayas, the Ganga to you. And here, now with the facility of Zoom, it's incredible how mobile our guides are. This is the strength of Sanatana Dharma. Your application for this morning is, on Wednesday afternoon, I have to facilitate a workshop, a DEI workshop on putting mindfulness to work. Putting mindfulness to work. I have no idea what I'm going to share in this workshop. And so I'm outsourcing this to all of you. Please teach me what I should share in this diversity, equity, and inclusion workshop. Shanti, 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 He joy.